Everyone, as we've all been impacted by the coronavirus and everyone's hunkered down at home, I thought it might be good if we all took pause. Many of you will see a downtick in the number of customers you have, in the number of prospects you have. Many of you will literally stop your business. So rather than see this as an opportunity or a time to worry, while there is plenty to worry about, um, my thinking is that perhaps we could spend this time doing some planning. In part, frequently you don't plan or we don't plan because the the world is busy, and when we are engaged in work and lots of prospects and leads, and or if you're a storefront, maybe lots of customers walking in, lines out the door, planning for what's next is often overlooked, or maybe just don't we don't have time. So we have lots of us more time than ever to stop, take stock in where we are, and plan. But if you've never done this before, the process can be imposing. You may not know how to get started. You may not even really understand that planning is a science, not an art. While there's an artistic or a creative element to it, it's there's method to it. Um, so in our next episode, I'll talk a little bit about why I may be able to provide some help. But I can tell you, I've gone through many years of this, 15 plus years in leadership roles, responsible for planning in a variety of large organizations. Currently, as a chief technology officer, I help both our organization as well as others plan what's next in their IT organization, as well as how IT acts as a transformative, game changing um, capability. So, and as a trained enterprise architect, I understand um, strategic planning and the role technology might play in planning in general better than most. So I thought maybe I might help contribute to the narrative and give you all some tips each day. This largely will be a daily series. I will speak to a different topic. We'll talk about things like vision and mission, the notion of cascading plans. You might not be a CEO or a COO or even a CTO, right? So, but you have control over your, whether it's department, world, or potentially just you. Maybe you need to come up with a vision statement. And so, and a plan. And so we will talk about vision and mission, identity, and the role that principles play in not just capturing that, culling it out, curating it, but also communicating those things. We'll also talk about methods to take these higher level concepts like vision and, and mission, and how do we make those actionable? You know, what is the next steps to taking something? Um, Again, we'll talk about the role technology might play in that. And again, my hope is that you watch the series, potentially not as a technologist. So we won't focus very much on technical bits and bytes. So it hopefully will be approachable to everyone, regardless of your technical background. But most of our world, I mean, no more relevant than right now, right? But all of our worlds have been impacted by technology, and so and how our businesses can grow as a function of technology, be enabled by technology, even outcompete other businesses by way of technology. And so there's a role typically, and so we'll talk about how the discipline and the practice of enterprise architecture enables organizations to plan to incorporate technology. And then so we'll talk about cascading plans. We'll talk about enterprise architecture and its role in the planning process. We'll talk about a variety of methods for planning. We'll even talk about some execution frameworks, things like project management and agile, and how these higher level notions of vision, mission, identity, enterprise architecture, and really higher level cross organization or cross department or cross multiple processes, how those sorts of things trickle down into, so we have a project to do, so because all this stuff should fit together, right? So we'll talk about that. I'll try to give you bite-sized chunks, so this won't be a long series each week. And I hopefully will get better at producing it each time. So if the quality isn't good on these early episodes, I'll be improving over time. But now is an important season, right? We are all in this season of maybe not doubt so much as just questioning what is next. And so what I'd like to do is give you tools that I've collected over the last, say, 15 years in a variety of planning roles to help you plan and to help you um, move through the planning process with some confidence and not feeling sort of arrested by what you don't know and what you have never experienced. Again, you have time to plan. Um, you have time and potentially focus. One of the other things that's true is very often us who get caught up in the sort of the daily life in the office. You might have ample time, but it's the focus. It's sectioning or carving off some time to focus on planning. And so now we all have a built-in focus, short of shutting the door and keeping kids from interrupting the homework. We all have an ability to turn off chat, to get out of email for a minute and literally block out the world. And so we can do that with a flip of a couple of buttons on our screen. And so the notion that now is a great time to plan is the premise. And so hopefully each day will give you more and more tools. This will be a live stream for those who end up joining me in YouTube. Feel free to hop in and ask questions. I'll try to be thoughtful, but also agile enough to kind of field things as they come in. I'll also be posting these as videos to not only will they be on our YouTube channel, but they'll also be in LinkedIn and other places. So again, hopefully this will serve you well. Hopefully this will give you some topics, some nuggets you can use as you think about planning. And hopefully you'll take the time to plan, because as I said, often we don't take time to sharpen the axe, so to speak. We're so busy chopping trees that now is a great time. While the trees are sequestered or inaccessible or a little bit more difficult to chop, it's a great time to stop, sit down, hone the tools, and planning is certainly a good one to do that in. And so I hope this series is beneficial to you. So we'll see you tomorrow for episode 1, in which I give you a little bit of my background and hopefully a little bit of nuggets you can use, and then we'll get into episode 3 and beyond when we get into some real topics, the meat of the series. So anyway, see you tomorrow.